This is a photo of the Scottish Highlands, an area of rewilded forest. Originally, Scotland was called Caledonia, a name that means forest. So the whole country looked like this originally. I took this pic a few years ago, also in the Scottish Highlands. It's starkly beautiful, but this is a landscape where cattle, sheep and goats make sure that no forest regrows. These animals have terraformed our planet. I've even seen sheep dig up grass to eat the roots if they're hungry enough. So trees don't stand a chance. The carbon stored in this landscape is a small fraction of what was here when it was forested. Some smaller producers are improving soil health and soil carbon in grazing pastures using methods initially popularised by Alan Savory. This is a positive move because grazing pastures have suffered extreme degradation globally. An area of farmland 4 times the area of Germany has been abandoned due to erosion and degradation. And we may have just 60 years of conventional farming left before our soils are exhausted. So we desperately need to improve soils. But the weight of evidence is against Savory and regenerative grazing. The evidence shows that while grazing practices can improve soil, this comes at the expense of productivity. Only with substantial external inputs can both production and soil health and soil carbon be increased at the same time. Without external inputs, either soil is improved or production is improved, but not both. Meat and Livestock Australia and Industry Research and Marketing Group have tried to increase productivity as well as soil carbon using a range of grazing methods with limited success. Their Wombiana trial was a 16-year multi-site study in Northern Australia. So if the industry organisations cannot verify Savory's methods, that says a lot. The Food Climate Research Network, based at Oxford Uni, has published a report called Grazed and Confused that shows grazing land soil can gain carbon, but this offsets a small fraction of ruminant emissions. Some people believe that soils can offset emissions from grazing animals. Not so. While grazing land areas are huge, the number of producers who are improving their soil is dismally small. Even when conditions are favourable for regenerative grazing, the soil carbon potential is a fraction of the potential carbon storage if the land were rewilded to forest. Modelling of global carbon storage done at the University of Illinois by Rao and others found that global grazing lands hold just 6% of the average carbon per hectare. Treating these lands as we do, with fire and overgrazing in many areas, we are keeping the land in a constant state of extreme low carbon. Images like this are seen on almost all continents. So soil carbon comes from plants, from their roots, from their litter, and from humus. There's not much soil carbon there. But more than 1/3 of the ice-free land is devoted to grazing, which brings us to the good news story. From the work of Searchinger and colleagues, we know that without animals grazing this land, we have an opportunity to store more than 30 gigatons of carbon dioxide per year, to pull it out of the atmosphere and store it in trees, shrubs, grasses and soils. That's about the same amount of carbon dioxide as we release each year from fossil fuel burning and industry. So land carbon goes hand in hand with agriculture. Therefore, it's only logical to include this carbon storage opportunity cost when we do carbon accounting for farmed animal production. We are fooling ourselves if we think that grazing animals and vegetation are separate. The fact is, they come as a package. We choose between trees and animals by what we eat, so counting opportunity cost is entirely appropriate, as Searchinger argued.